you very much. Okay, so just popping into, as I said, a short little presentation. So the key ways that we endeavour to help you is to help you to be meeting your compliance obligations, and you'll see how Brenna really closes the loop for you in terms of ensuring that family members receive the information, and also that you're seeing that they have actually read the information that has been sent to them. So ensuring that it's helping you with the elements of communication and engagement with family that come through the various standards, and also to help to improve your brand awareness and reputation. So what is the purpose? The purpose is, as I mentioned, in relation to the various different participants within the aged care situation. So the first is for nurses particularly, to really help them save time and to make their day easier. And what we hear time and time again is the biggest stress for nurses is time management, that their cup is already full and then extra things happen and the cup runs over and there just isn't more space. So we don't want nurses to be working overtime. We'd love them to be taking their breaks. So this is a way that we can really help to contribute to saving some of their time. For family members, by them receiving information in a consistent fashion, in consistent wording and structure, that they know how that's going to come. And as you'll see, the traffic light system, which is one of the favourite things by family members, means that they really do have really good peace of mind and that they're receiving that clear, timely information. For management, hopefully it means you have happier staff then a happier stay, and improved operations, and less complaints that get kicked up the tree to you to be able to manage. And we have had proven in the homes that are using Brenna so far that, that they've had a significant reduction in complaints, and at some homes to zero where those complaints have been in relation to communication, which is fantastic. Now, for the residents, what we firmly believe is that if you give nurses an easier day where they have a little bit more time and are a bit less stressed, the resident will get better love and care, because all nurses became a nurse because they want to be caring, not because they want to do documentation or anything else. And then on the other side of the equation, if families are less stressed and they've got clear information, they're going to complete their part of the care puzzle in a better way. So the residents, we hope, get better love and care from both sides by giving people this tool. So the inspiration from Brenna was my mum. So this is my sweet mum, Robin, and she was in care for 4.5 years. I used to think it was just my crazy family, but as I explored this more and more, I realised that pretty much all families are a little bit crazy and difficult, and that there are multiple people in lots of instances. And this is one of the key things with Brenna, that it takes it from you making a phone call and your staff making a phone call from one person to one person, maybe getting that person, maybe not, maybe having to go back and do it again later, to something where they send it, they know job is done, they get a tick that it's been completed, and it can go to all authorised family members. So we have some family members that, some residents that have up to 7 or 8 family members within Brenna that all receive the same information at the same time. And so in that way, it really is a bit of a game changer. Here's a little pictorial storyboard that just quickly shows instances which I'm sure you're very familiar with. So showing that a resident's had a small fall, so nothing too serious. So the RN must call the family member, and so they then are taken away into the office to do documentation and a phone call. Other RNs on the floor are then kind of left as being, potentially more stressed and a bit overwhelmed. The person that receives the phone call is a bit confused, might not quite understand the person over the phone and has lots of questions. She then sends messages on to her husband and her sister, who are kind of like, what's happened? What's gone on? Because they're getting a bit of Chinese whispers. And then there's a family member that doesn't quite get along so well with Susan, and so she doesn't get a message at all. And when she comes to visit a few days later and finds out Dad's had a fall, she's annoyed, and then you're dealing with another family member who's annoyed. So, that kind of scenario that happens many times a day in pretty much every aged care home across the country. This is what we're endeavouring to solve for. These are the sorts of issues that we hear from family members, and they really sort of repeat the same sort of things. I get really stressed when the number comes up, all sorts of things which unfortunately are quite racist and derogatory. They all sound the same. I can't tell the difference between them. I can't understand them, etc., etc. So these are all the sorts of things that we're endeavouring to resolve for with family members, but then that has a flow-on effect for staff for them, that they hopefully will be treated with better level of respect and dignity. So for staff, it's a two-sided problem. The staff are often saying, family members are busy. They don't pick up the call when we ring. We then have to go and do it again. It's on our mind that we haven't called that person, or I don't like speaking to that person. And so they can get really anxious about doing that. I'm always working after my shift to finish things off, et cetera, et cetera. So all these sorts of things we're also endeavouring to solve for staff. So how do we do it? This is what Brenna is. It's a hybrid application. And what that means is that for staff, and what I'll take you through today, it's a web-based platform. You use a web link, and in your laptops and any shared devices, there should be now a saved icon for you to use with the Brenna web link. And then for family members, Brenna is a mobile application. The family members will download it either from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on what kind of device they have. It's a very simple and easy process for family members to download the app. However, there'll be some family members that are older or less tech savvy that might need a bit of help with that. We have staff that will run through an activation process with your family members a week or two after the go live date. And I'll talk through that more a little bit later, but your staff can also help family members to the extent that they need it. Once they have downloaded, it's a very simple app to use, and all family members will receive the same information through the app. So just showing you that representation of that it's a web link on one side and then a mobile application on the other. So the beauty that we say of the system is that it is a framework or a scaffolding that takes you through in simple steps exactly what information to provide in each given instance. So it's like just following a flow chart. And so with that, we have things that are really helpful and easy to use, a really super quick search function, step-by-step guidance for the nurses. And within certain elements of the product, which I'll show you shortly, we have care journey checklists. The purpose of this is because your teams are already doing everything that they need to do to love and care for residents in that journey. But family members don't always see that. They don't always see that information, and what they receive in a phone call when they are updated in certain instances from staff is subjective depending on what particular staff member it is that's speaking to them. What this helps with is improving the consistency of information that's passed along, but making that easy for staff to do. So they don't have to think about it as much, that the options are there, they just have to select what was actually done. As an added byproduct, what we've discovered is that this can actually also work as a bit of a checklist for staff of what they ought to be doing that they might not yet have done. So it can be helpful, particularly for staff that are a bit more junior. On the family side, they all receive information simultaneously. I'll run you through that and share on screen what it looks like for family members when they receive updates as we go through. They receive two things when there's a new update. We use the term update simply for information being sent out to family members. That's just the term that we use within the system. They will receive what's called a push notification, and a push notification looks like this. So you will receive them from other apps that you use on your phone, from your internet banking and so forth. This one will come with the little Brenna icon. It will say new update for name of resident. It will have the heading of what the update relates to. And then it has a priority colour coding. This is what we call our traffic light system. Green for low priority, orange for medium priority, and red for high priority. Family members love it because as soon as they see it, they're like, oh, okay, it's green. I can finish my meeting or finish my shopping at the supermarket and have a read of it later. If it's orange, I might want to stop what I'm doing and read it now. If it's red, they ought to have received a phone call, or perhaps another family member would have received a phone call. But in that instance, they're probably going to read it straight away. It gives them that level of agency of that they can do that then at their convenience, as opposed to, oh my God, the nursing home's ringing. I'm in the middle of cooking dinner, but I'm going to answer that phone because if I don't, then I don't know who called me, or if I call back,